How is Russia able to develop a world class military hardware despite its low and shrinking economy, and why India lacks in this despite having a good economy? While why do we lack research and development? What's keeping us behind? See, Russia, the Russia of today is the successor state of the USSR. The USSR was a genuine economic and military superpower. They had a massive economy, and that economic might translated into military might. So they invested in R&D over the decades, 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on and so forth, right? So they invested a lot in R&D. A lot of their economy, a lot of the money was poured into R&D, and that's why present day Russia has inherited all those technological advancements, and that R&D and industrial infrastructure. So they did not have to create all this from scratch. That's why they are able to develop world class military hardware despite having a small and shrinking economy, because they have the benefit of all the iterations of submarine designs that have been created since the 1950s, and the various fighter jet designs that the Sukhoi and the Mikoyan Gurevich and other design factories have produced over the decades, and so on and so forth. They were one of the first powers to develop rockets. So their initial rockets were based on German designs, and then they iteratively progressed upon that, improved upon that, and that's why they have very good rockets today. They have some of the most powerful rockets in the world. They are developing even more powerful rockets. So it's because they inherited all the work that was done during the Soviet Union. That's why they're able to do this. And India did not invest in R&D, did not invest in its own uh, military infrastructure and all that until very recently. So we just kept on buying arms, weapons, etc., and military systems, hardware from other countries, from the USSR, and later from the West, because politicians somehow benefited from that. And that's why they did not allow Indian scientists to develop homegrown versions of these weapons. So until recently, we were buying howitzers, cannons, etc., from Bofors, from Sweden. We are still buying fighter aircraft from other countries. We are now slowly uh, creating the infrastructure and the capabilities to make our own weapons, but it is going to take time. So that is what's keeping us behind. And also, we don't have a research oriented academic system. Our eminent scientists and professors, they don't do any real research. Have you heard of any genuine research, significant research being done in India in the past 30, 40, 50 years? Nothing. We do have DRDO, we do have Hindustan, HAL, these organizations, but they are simply creating hardware and weapon systems that are imitations of what has already been created in the West, in the US, in Russia, in Europe, in China. We are simply trying to catch up. We are not creating something that is cutting edge, first of its kind. We are not doing that. So that is the problem. There is no innovation. There is no culture of innovation in the government, in the bureaucracy, because all of these institutions are run by bureaucrats, and the bureaucratic mind is not your ordinary Indian mind. It is a colonized mind. So these are some of the problems that are keeping India behind.